Welcome back to Hindustan Astrology. I'm Katya, and in today's video, I want to talk about the fixed star Achernar. Now, the fixed star Achernar is in the constellation Eridanus, and Achernar actually means end of the river, and Eridanus is the river constellation. So I am using the sidereal placement, which is 21 degrees, 13 minutes of sidereal Aquarius. Now, why am I using the sidereal zodiac and not the tropical? Well, this is because the sidereal zodiac is the real-time placement of our stars and planets. And the tropical changes it. Right now, the difference is 24 degrees forward. And what this does is that it aligns the planet, our planet Earth, with the sun. That's the tropical zodiac. This determines our seasons. But when you look up into the night sky, let's say you have your phone and you're looking at the Google Sky Map and you're checking out where things are, that's the sidereal zodiac. That's the real-time placement of the stars and planets. That is not what Western uses. So what I've discovered is that Vedic astrology, or Jyotish or Jyotisha, which uses primarily the sidereal zodiac, I found that it's been a lot more accurate, not just for personality types, but for mundane astrology, which is predicting world events. And so I also discovered that when I got into studying the fixed stars, that the myths surrounding them are actually according to the sidereal zodiac. Let me give you an example. Regulus, which is the star that is in the sidereal zodiac at about 6 or 7 degrees of Leo. It's actually the heart of the lion. In tropical zodiac or Western, it moves forward into Virgo. So the myth about the heart of the lion does not apply to the virgin, the wheat goddess of the harvest. So you can see how our myths are actually developed around the sidereal zodiac or the constellations. So what is the difference between a constellation and an asterism? Well, a constellation is or rather are the zodiac signs that are on the ecliptic. So what's the ecliptic? What's the equator? So if this is our equator and we tilt it at an angle, this is how we're looking at the night sky. And this is the line that the planets and stars go around. And it is tilted at an angle because of the precession of the equinoxes. So basically, the signs are always moving backwards in the grand scheme of things, the precession of equinoxes. So we use this in the sidereal zodiac. So as you're looking up into the sky and you're looking at the planets and the sun going around, that band, that ecliptic, the zodiac or the constellations that fall along that ecliptic are what are included in the nakshatras. So in Hindu astrology, Jyotish, Vedic astrology, right? It's all the same thing. We are concerned with the stars that are closer to the ecliptic, okay? The stars that are further from the ecliptic we feel are not as strong. They're not as strongly felt. So one exception is the star Arcturus, and it is far off of the ecliptic, but it's included. It is the star that rules Swati Nakshatra, and it is known as the self-going star. These people are extremely independent and want to do things their way, and this is because their star is far off of the ecliptic, you see. So what I've discovered, because I started with Western astrology, and for 30 years I did Western astrology. So I got to learn a lot about the other stars that are not included in the Vedic nakshatras. And so what I did was I compiled a list, 56 stars that I felt were most important. And I'm sure there's more. I'm sure I did not get them all, but I thought this was a good way to go. Like a deck of cards, 56 cards and 56 stars. And the first one that we're going to start with is Achernar. So let's take a look at the research that I've done. Okay, so now we're going to take a look at my presentation on the fixed star Achernar. It is at 21 degrees, 1 minute of Sidereal Aquarius in Purva Bhadrapada. And we're going to take a look at the chart of Muhammad Ali, who is the American boxing champion and activist. So this is a screenshot I took of the zodiac on Stellarium. And you can see, actually, it was crazy. On the day that I was doing this research, the sun was at 21 degrees of Aquarius with Jupiter. And I thought, wow, I think I really need to be doing this. So you see this red band here? This is the ecliptic. And as you can see, the zodiac signs fall along it. So here, down here, we have Aquarius and Pisces. And then after that would be Aries. And Achernar is right here. It's the end of the river. So this is the Eridanus constellation. It goes from here and goes all the way down. And then this is the end of the river. So this is at 21 degrees of Sidereal Aquarius. So do you see here how if we had used Western astrology, we would have added 24 degrees onto it, and it would have put Achernar up here into Pisces. So I have found that this is just a lot more accurate. And so we can also see over here, I want you to pay attention to the Pegasus constellation, which is right here, especially this big square, because the stars that are traditionally aligned with Purva Bhadrapada are Markov, which is at about 29 degrees of Aquarius, and Sheet, which is at about 4.5 degrees of Pisces. So those stars are here. So we have, oh, sorry about that. We have here, here's my pointer. This is Markov at 29 degrees of Aquarius, okay? And this is Sheet. So this is basically a perfect square, almost a perfect square. So Sheet is about right here. And that's at 4.5 degrees of Pisces. So what I want you to get from this is that when you're looking at the nakshatras, there are many more stars that are associated with this area of space in the sky for us. So, you know, Purva Bhadrapada starts at 20 degrees. So this is barely inside this nakshatra, but I feel like it's a much more positive take on this nakshatra, as we'll see, because Markov and Sheet are not very pleasant stars. So the takeaway is look at the whole area of sky that this nakshatra is in and take into consideration other things. Now you might be looking over here at Canopus. So this is a really condensed